I've seen people who start off with essentially half and half, and then over a year's span, that junk is up here, okay?
Wow, your face, really?
Yes, she's obsessed.
Well, obsessed. Like, now you have to show them to me. Come on, show them to me. You have to show them to me. Let me see.
Hey y'all, it's me, Tania. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So we're gonna get into the topic of this video, but I just wanna kind of give a disclaimer in reference to when I was doing my research for this video, I recognized that there are two different types of people who have thin locks. There are those who have the fine hair, and as a result of them having fine hair, meaning their follicle is thinner, they have naturally thinner locks. And then there are people like myself who have thick, coarse hair, and we just so happen to start our locks pretty thin. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that I'm aware of that. I'm going to be talking about reasons why I think a person's thin locks could be getting thinner. Now, I do want to make sure it's clear that the things I'm getting ready to talk about are not applicable to all locks. I do realize that people who have thicker locks might be able to get away with at least one of these things. But when you have thinner locks, just by nature of the fact that you don't have as much quote unquote real estate or hair to manipulate it and to work with as someone who has thick locks, you have to be a little bit more careful. And that's all the way from the root all the way down to the tip. We just have to be a little bit more careful than our thick lock sisters. We still have beautiful locks. We just have to do our due diligence to preserve the health of our locks. So let's get into today's video. So the first, I don't want to say unconventional, but I don't really see it talked about a lot, is that you are either pruning your locks way too early or you're over pruning your locks. And I'm just gonna be real with you. I don't do pruning in general because, one, I got thin locks. I'm not trying to do anything that could be causing damage to my hair, even if I'm being very careful. Only time I've seen that pruning has been beneficial to a person's lock journey is when they already have thick locks. So if you have thinner locks, I just don't see the logic in like intentionally either allowing somebody else to do it or you taking scissors to your locks just to mitigate frizz, okay? Like, you can locksmith, and locksmithing is just you taking those loose hairs that are causing the frizz and you just wrapping them around. I've seen some locticians just go to town doing it, but ultimately speaking, I think it's just natural to have a bunch of frizz whenever your locks are going through the starter phase. And if you are a person who just started your locks, do not do too much to your locks too soon, thinking that you're going to help your locks down the road. You're not going to, okay? Especially if you have thinner locks. Like, your locks are so fragile compared to someone who has thicker locks to begin with. So don't take any scissors to your hair way too early, or in my opinion in general, because when you have thinner locks, at the end of the day, you just have to make sure that you're not doing any mechanical damage that could really mess your hair up. The next thing I want to talk about, I want to talk specifically to my, brothers and sisters who have top locks. And the only reason why I even know about the top lock issue is because my husband has top locks and I manage his locks in reference to like retightening and keeping his hair clean. However, he goes to a barber who has locks himself, who is very much so aware of the plight of a person who has top locks. But he's very fortunate to have his barber, because I've heard of people who actually do go to like a barber who hasn't had locks, don't know the lock experience, and their barber has damaged their locks over time because they have cut into the base of their locks. And I think this is the issue whether you have thick or thin locks. But if you are a person who has top locks and your locks are a little bit on a thinner side, you have to go above and beyond to make sure that your locks are not undergoing any type of like mechanical damage, whether it be at the base or at the shaft, okay? Do not allow anybody to just do whatever to your hair. And even if you're doing your own hair, be very careful that whenever you are cutting your hair in the back, that you have it marked where you're not going any farther than what you need to go. And if you need help, get somebody to help you. So that's my second reason why your thin locks are maybe breaking off or getting thinner, is you're just not doing your due diligence to make sure people aren't cutting into your locks. And over time, that is going to push your locks, your top locks up. I've seen it. I've seen people who start off with, essentially half and half, and then over a year's span, that junk is up here, okay? And I've seen people have to cut their locks off. So ultimately speaking, just be careful with that. The third thing I wanted to talk about today, I interlock with a safety pin, but it doesn't matter what you interlock with. It's just whenever you are interlocking, if you interlock to the quick, to the white meat, then you are going to maximize and optimize the chances of your hair getting thinner over time, meaning your roots are going to get thinner, and as those roots grow out and go into the lock shaft, your shaft is going to be thinner. Okay, so my suggestion would be to just consider giving a little bit of give. Consider giving a little bit of give whenever you are interlocking. Also, if you are interlocking, consider, if you haven't already, using a 2-point rotation, because this is just my opinion. Keep in mind, I'm not a loctician. The 2-point is only compressing the hair from 2 points rather than the 4-point rotation where it's going up north, south, east, west. It's coming in from 4 points, which is making your hair more condensed and a little bit more compact. So it was kind of like a twofer. If you're interlocking, give yourself a little bit of give at the base, at the root, and then also consider doing a 2-point rotation. And if you are not, that could be the reason why your hair is actually breaking off or getting thinner over time. With that being said, it's really honestly all I have to talk about today. I just wanted to come up real quick, okay, and just share with you some, I don't say not so much talked about, but just some unconventional reasons why your thin locks are breaking off or maybe on their way to breaking off. And I, really do not want to see anybody's locks break off, thin or not. But whenever, like I said before, whenever we have thinner locks, we have to really go above and beyond to really pay attention to the health of our hair, because we don't have as much hair regarding the thickness of our shaft to manipulate whenever we're taking care of our hair. Okay, so if you have any additional reasons, granted there are the basic reasons like too tight styles, the basic stuff that I could have talked about, but I wanted to really focus in on things that there aren't a lot of videos on. So if you have any additional suggestions or tips, leave them in the comment section below. And until the next live video, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.